Well, hello, puzzlers. It's Greg Pliska, your chief puzzle officer, here with a special edition of Hello, Puzzlers. AJ and I are here with two puzzle making guests from LinkedIn. We've got Thomas Snyder, who is the principal puzzle master at LinkedIn, and Laksh Somasundaram, who is senior director of
Product.
Cool Things product at LinkedIn. Thank you guys for joining us.
Great
Thank
to be
you for
here.
having us. Yeah.
We are so thrilled.
AJ, I have to add one thing.
Okay.
I mean, we're just like describing these guys as like the two guys at LinkedIn. I don't know Laksh, but I know Thomas, and I know his huge puzzle resume, which includes World Puzzle Championships. And, we are very lucky to have one of the big minds of puzzling, especially logic puzzling, here with us today.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
thank
you
for
know
doing
that
this,
he
Thomas.
is featured in the book, The Puzzler,
Yes.
which we wrote. And Thomas is a Sudoku champion, a legend. And you contributed a Sudoku puzzle to us. You lent
Yeah.
us one. So thank you for that.
No, I remember being really appreciative that you recognized handcrafted Sudoku as being special. And you're like, I love this one from your book, Thomas. Can we use it? And I'm like, absolutely, AJ. It was great to be a part of the story of Sudoku and the part of the story of puzzles as you explored it there.
Right. That was not an AI generated puzzle. That was a handcrafted artisanal
generated.
puzzle.
Yeah.
I also still remember your hack, which maybe I should adopt, of sugar loading with Cocoa Krispies before
I
they...
didn't know about this.
Before championships, yeah, no, there's a European version of Cocoa Puffs called Choco Champs.
Oh, yeah.
And so because it was just named Choco Champs in Bulgaria, I'm like, I'm going to try this. And so every tournament, somehow in Europe, they always have a version of a Choco Champ. And so that's my breakfast ritual is some milk, some chocolate cereal, and then get ready for some Sudoku. So
You import the Choco Champs?
no, I've not tried to find which countries have the right sort of extra recipe in there, but there's some routine,
Secret ingredient.
whatever gets you in a thinking zone. It's even as we think of the LinkedIn games, playing a few puzzles for a few minutes every day could get you in the zone for your work. Like when you're a Sudoku player for championships, how do you get in that zone to be comfortable, thinking your best, not distracted by what's happening around you? It is like a sport. You may not say it's being an athlete, but the preparation, everything that goes into it, the mind games that are part of it, it's a lot. So, it appreciates sort of, Greg, you calling out sort of the special nature of achieving some of the things I was able to do during my competitive career.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say it's true at the CrossFit Puzzle Tournament too, where people will sit in the same seat in the room or have the same breakfast or do the same prep every time, because it is like any competitive person, athlete, mental athlete or physical athlete. You want to get into the right zone.
Yeah, I've got my special pencil. Some people can see on it. It's kind of it's a Pentel, but I match a purple and a black, or I do a red or blue. I change the color. So it's a 2-color Pentel. You can't buy these.
Oh, I like it.
You gotta
I like it.
customize from the stuff you can get. But it's a lead size I like. It's a softness I like. So yeah, you get used to these things. It's sort of like you remove the extraneous things and then you just puzzle. That's the form of your next hour.
I love it. And you do have, for LinkedIn, you have created puzzle. You have, how many puzzles now do you have at LinkedIn?
So we have 6 daily games. Laksh can tell the story of the first 3, and I was part of just one of those first 3, but it's really grown both in users and just in basically the breadth of things you can experience on the platform.
Well,
things
they're
that
very
make you
fun.
think, things that, yeah, absolutely.
Very addictive. We're going to get to those in a moment. Greg has a LinkedIn themed puzzle for you. And then we want to use one of your games, which is more audio friendly. Not, Sudoku, of course, not so easy to do on audio, but you have one that is. So we'll play that. And then I want to hear about the origin story of how LinkedIn games came about. But Greg, start us off with your LinkedIn game.
Sure. This is a pretty straightforward puzzle. Basically, what we've done is imagine spin-offs of LinkedIn for different sort of networking services for niche groups. And each of these spin-offs happens to rhyme with LinkedIn.
A weird coincidence.
Just coincidentally, it turned out. So, for example, the networking services for people with something in their eyes would be BlinkedIn.
Got it.
So that's how it's going to work. So I'll give you a clue to who the audience is for. Now, of course, we know LinkedIn is for all these people together, but we're doing the niche versions.
Great.
So LinkedIn for tattoo artists would be
Inked.
LinkedIn. There you go.
Good start. We got it.
How about for psychologists and therapists?
I'm ready when you have it.
I might not have it, so you go ahead.
Shrinked in.
Shrinked in. Very
Wow,
good.
okay. That's
Very good. How about for lifeguards who want to avoid sunburn on their noses?
Wait. Do you have it?
I mean, I know what you apply, but I don't have the rhyme.
I don't have a rhyme. Sunscreen? Screen?
I feel
Nope,
this
it's
is
a
like
very
an old
specific
style.
thing.
Like
Yeah,
when you
they
have the
put-
white on your nose in movies, like where the dorky guy has white.
It's a chemical element.
Oh.
Zinced in.
Zinced in.
Ah,
Exactly. How about for people who look for their particular sexual fetish?
Whoa.
What
the?
That's not approved, but that's one letter behind LinkedIn.
Okay, there you go. Kinked in. Come on
Nice.
now. I mean, you know, it's
Thank you.
Excellent. That was some excellent puzzling
Yeah.
from Thomas.
One letter behind.
Being able to
There
say
you
it
go.
without saying it.
I
How about-
appreciate you starting easy so I could get one. That made me
Yeah, no,
excited.
we can mix it. We try to mix it around.
And
how about
sometimes
for-
like and a hint for Locke, like you should be trying to think of things you haven't heard yet, but you could go like dinked in, synced in, dinked in, like synced in we could get. Like I'm waiting for
Right.
an S clue. So maybe
You've
that's
already-
coming up. But be ready for it.
You've already answered half of them just by doing all the rhymes. How about the one for hockey players?
LinkedIn.
Rinked in.
Did you wait just so I could get that?
You got it faster.
All right, good.
Make sure
good,
you
good.
get that in the.
You got.
And I
We're
got
gonna
it
take
faster.
you got it faster, and we'll just
Yeah,
stick it in
as
front
long
of
as we have
each
that, we'll get-
answer.
yeah.
We cut it and paste it.
Yeah.
How about for people who wear fur?
LinkedIn.
That's also
Oh,
correct. Yeah.
Look at that. Very good.
I'm just feeling.
And-
I've been editing some cross climbs recently, so these words are coming up. But I'm like,
Yeah.
is mink one I want to use or not? It's like it's always in my mind. It's like mink to rink. Like I've been thinking about these words a lot. So it's a
Interesting.
great.
Right.
It's a great. You start to just for a day like ink is your life.
Right. Well, that's your
You
other
can't
puzzle.
unsee
That's
it
one of
once
the
it's-
other puzzles, right? Cross
cross climb.
Cross climb.
cross climb, where it's like a word ladder that you're
Yeah.
creating, and the top and the bottom are always related, right?
That's the goal, is to have something cool as the final reveal. It's like a word getting to a word or like a phrase that reveals itself. And then what happens in the middle, we sometimes want at least one or two kind of interesting clues, but generally the clues you're meant to get. Like the latter part is meant to be more approachable, but then it has a reveal at the close.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a fun thing for what it is, but it takes, you say there are a lot of, as you'll know very well, Greg, a lot of like common words that are in almost all the ladders. So it's like, how do you edit this to not like repeat the same word? Or the same
yes,
clue?
exactly. I get it.
These like
I get it.
nexus words that are just really good to build into.
All right, let me give you a couple more of these. This is the networking service for stealthy people.
I don't know, like slink is exactly where you're trying to get
Yeah,
to.
that's where I'm going.
It is
Slinked in.
slinked in.
Slinked in. You sort of slink in there sideways. All right, I'll do a few more. These get longer. This is for fans of 1984.
Oh, it's not like a big thing. What is the
What is that thing you have to do in
George
1984
Orwell?
to hold two contradictory concepts in the your head
Oh,
at the
right.
same-
Okay. Took me a second.
It's you think is part of it, but it's the modifier for think.
It's not old think.
Oh, that's
Well, it's
also
like new think feels right, or news think, but it's
new think. This is
think.
also when you have to think twice.
rethink.
Double think.
Oh,
double
double
think.
think. Oh,
Double
so wait,
think.
maybe it's news speak. What is the new
It's
one?
news speak sounds correct for it, and then I know more the 2 and 2 is 5, but I don't remember double think.
Double think, I think, is the concept where you know, yesterday we were at war with Eurasia, now we're at war with Oceania, and you just have to allow both of those things to be possible without
Got it.
questioning. This is the networking site for dinosaurs.
Huh.
Extinct then.
Extinctin, very good.
Nice. Good
Very
one.
good.
I love that. I love that.
And your last one, this is actually two sites that interlock that are for people toasting at cocktail parties.
One is Clinked-in,
Yeah.
and cocktail parties.
And what do they
Drinked in.
Drinked-in,
Ah,
exactly.
very
Well done,
good.
guys. You
Yes.
got all of
Very
those, and
good.
I look forward. If you roll those out, we expect just a small percentage.
A small percentage of 0 is still 0, but yes, we're happy
Perfect.
to share.
There you go.
Large percent.
It's mostly credit. Like what we have is what we can offer to those who sort of help make the puzzles.
I like it.
Let a big audience see them. That's a lot of the goal.
Good.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, let's get to the LinkedIn games. You have a bunch that I want to talk about, but first, you have one that is kind of audio friendly that you can give to Greg and I and the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So we of our 6 games, one is called Pinpoint, and this is what we'll call a game of categories. And so like a very simple example be like orange, apple, lime, and you say those are types of fruit. Now we're not going to give something like that, but there could be a wordplay thing or a kind of object of this thing or any other sort of connection. And so I have a few examples. These are games that appeared, but they were new to Greg and AJ at the time of taping.
Okay, good.
There you go.
We're
Exactly.
doing them live. So we'll start with the first one. So there are going to be 5 total clues. Well, I guess how we'll try to play it is I'll give the first clue. And then if either of you thinks you have an answer, we'll let you try it. So the first puzzle, which will run probably on a Tuesday or Wednesday, so it's on the easier side. It starts with the word business.
All right. Sections of a newspaper.
I was going to say kinds of, suits you wear. Okay.
I'm
Things
writing
with
these down.
monkey.
There'll be future puzzles. Those are good ideas.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Those are
Kinds
not-
of suits.
They're not necessarily this one. The next is the word keynote.
Oh,
Okay.
this keynote speech. There's
Yeah, speakers or speeches.
business speak,
speech,
business
keynote
speak,
speech,
keynote.
address, business address, keynote address. Okay, give us another one.
The third clue is forwarding.
Yeah, I like address.
Aha, right, there it is.
You got a business address, you got a keynote address, forwarding address. What's the next one going to be, AJ?
Well, now
Guess.
you have the right category, so we'll just reverse it on you. We try to have some of the more like standout words at the end. So can you think
Yeah.
of anything you'd want to add to this game?
Postal address.
mailing or postal.
So we had something like mailing, but not for letters. We actually have email.
Email. Yeah, that's even better. That's even better. Good.
And then we have a 2-letter abbreviation that's more of a technical kind of address.
IP.
IP is there too.
I was going to also suggest Gettysburg.
Oh, that's a good
so
one.
this is an interesting thing
Yeah.
for our game. Our game has a really international audience. So if I ran this in the US, Gettysburg is 100% known. If I run this in Germany, maybe, but it's a different sort of thing. So Gettysburg, we have to be aware of, is a little bit more of an Americanism, but it's
Yeah.
a great address. So it's definitely the author had it, and in editing, we're like, it's one of the bonus clues we'll talk about, but not one we fit into the game. But
I love it. I love that thinking. And of course you have to think that way, knowing your audience is broader than just people in the United States.
Yeah, no, it is one of the when we started, and even to this day. So every day after we have our games, there's like a daily post where members can come and share their scores, commentary, thoughts, air their complaints, grievances if they have those. Always happens, as you can imagine.
Of
And
course.
it's funny. In the beginning, we'd always get feedback of like, I mean, like I had never even like used the term Americanism in my vocabulary until we started building games here. But the fact that something is an Americanism became like one of the most frequent pieces of feedback we'd get. And then
Interesting.
right now, so the minority of our players are actually in the U.S.
Really?
The majority are outside the U.S. So now it's something to very much keep in mind. I mean, I have a committee of 50 employees at LinkedIn around the world to actually review our word games before to help like check for things like that. So
That is
it's
so
something we've learned to
interesting.
become very.
Oh, that's great.
no, and we still like we sometimes want to still teach or have these games add to it. So it's not like
Right.
a game's okay if you know 4 of the 5 things,
Right,
but
you learn
we
something.
still want someone to get to an answer by the end. And so
Right.
Gettysburg might be a better third clue, but it would be a giveaway for you all. But it can't be the last clue, which is where like IP or email, like those are kind of like we sort of think of the clues in different ways that way. So I have one more example of this game. This is a little harder, but it's still like I think fun for this group, at least for the 2 of you to try. So this starts with the word rigid.
Rigid. Okay. Words missing an F at the
Yes,
beginning.
exactly. We're synonyms for cold without a first letter.
That's
Old.
Category.
also a great puzzle. So old is my next clue there. So
Yeah,
just a-
Yeah.
So
We got
rigid
it.
is the first. Rigid is
Okay.
the first clue. Prearranged is the second.
Frigid and prearranged.
No, rigid, not frigid. Rigid.
Oh, rigid.
R-I-G-I-D.
Yeah.
And rearranged. Okay.
Prearranged.
Prearranged.
Oh,
Prearranged.
Okay.
You're
Fine.
doing great, AJ. You got them all. Rigid and prearranged.
Prearranged. Pre
Kinds of marriages.
rigid.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
I,
Rigid.
Well, the next one might-
prearranged.
the next will change the thinking some. The next word is backdrop.
Ooh.
Backdrop. No, because we could go. It's either something with the meaning of the words or it's the words themselves. I was leaning more towards it's the words themselves. It's the letters and the sounds as opposed to the meaning. Did he say mm-hmm? Was that a good?
He did.
No,
It
like I
was-
understand, I understand your thinking, and like I've listened to your podcast a lot, and so the kinds of games you often play go more in that way. More of our audience don't start with like homophones or silent letters or other things like that. So like that, this anagrams to a country is not going to be the category today.
Right.
But
right,
like in puzzles, like I've seen you make or play, and certain puzzles I do. So anyway, rigid, prearranged, backdrop, and now
Backdrop.
television. The fourth clue is television.
Television, rigid, prearranged, and backdrop.
I was thinking about a backdrop made me think about screens and screening, but rigid, prearranged
Opinion? No, rigid.
television.
This is it. It's
Host television.
backdrop.
And also the interesting thing, Thomas, and I haven't played enough Pinpoint to get, the kinds of categories you would do.
Yeah.
I probably am thinking about the semantics, the meaning of the words, but sometimes it's things that are in phrases like television broadcast or the previous one we did.
No,
Right.
no,
where it was
most of
blank address.
Yeah, more of our clues are going to be words that precede or follow. This is not of that category, but
Okay.
where you think about meanings is very good. And I can give the fifth clue, but let me first give a hint I'd give it this time. There
Okay.
are certain words that have like a dozen definitions or 6 dozen definitions. This is in that space of a very, you're getting closer with the word screen.
Yes, got
But
it. A
screen doesn't
single
do all of
word
them yet.
that could mean all these
Oh,
things.
I see. Okay. So rigid.
Fixed.
Fixed. That sounds good.
Fixed,
No?
rigid, prearranged, backdrop,
Backdrop, screen.
and television. A television is a screen. It's the tube, box,
Wait,
boxed in.
prearranged is slated, planned.
Planned. Yeah, that was good. What I
Not
love
good
too about
enough.
doing this is you can try to think about which word is the way in.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
backdrop. How many things could backdrop be?
And part of what I think is tricky in this one, and this is one that like I still haven't looked at how our 50 players have done this. So this will edit a little bit probably for this. Right now we have 2 verb meanings and 2 noun meanings. And I think that's
Oh,
part of the challenge. So I'll go to the last clue, which is another verb meaning, which is establish a record.
two.
Oh, I got it. That's so interesting how one will just trigger I know what it is now.
I didn't get it from that. What is it? You want to say it?
Well, it is the word maybe with the most meanings in the English
Oh,
language.
set.
Yes.
There
yes.
you go.
Set. Yeah,
So I have like
600.
20 other clues I could use instead.
Of
Like,
course.
Group,
Yeah,
group
yeah,
of
yeah.
objects. Group of objects could be one of those clues.
Right.
But that space of like sort of how to do that, I think one of the joys of language is even though we all have our individual language, there's like run is a word that has like 31 verb tenses and other sort of like this space of how different language bleeds into words meaning all these things is where it's fun in a game that has players from around the world to sort of challenge their knowledge of language a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is our hardest day of puzzles. So this is the space
Got
where it's
it.
like this could go to an oral only game like on a video and not actually be on the app because it could be just a little too hard without me as a host to kind of talk through it and get hints in the middle.
We love
Right.
But that's like the space of a self-contained game to a community is what we're trying to do with LinkedIn and sort of open up the people who play, but also open up how they think. And you're right that where it's if you're thinking of like a compound word sort of clue structure, then you may not go to this is the most defined word in the dictionary. It takes like 40 pages to cover what set is in the OED. Like this is the reality of some of the things we play with and our puzzle makers who come up with those ideas. Like that game was made by Mike Selinker, who is my co-author in the book Puzzlecraft. But Mike
Oh, yeah.
Mike can make dozens of these in like a few hours, and it takes me like an hour to make a good one. And so
love
the space of the ideas flowing out versus editing to make them perfect for audience. It's an art we're starting getting better at. But as with other guests you have on, it's impressive to see how your audience shapes how you make the puzzles and vice versa.
Right.
Of course. I love too that you're doing this not only for an international audience, but for people who might not be native English speakers, right? So you're looking at idioms and what idioms are people going to know or not know. And can people learn, as you said, by doing it? Oh, I didn't realize set had these other meanings. And obviously, people talk about these after they're done. Do people comment during the day while the puzzle is up there?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you can go see.
people, you can see all the spoilers, or people are talking about what's going on, and hopefully it brings people together, which feels like part of the point.
Right.
Yeah.
And Thomas, by the way, Thomas mentioned the book he wrote with Mike Selinker, which I highly recommend if you're a puzzle maker out there. Puzzle
Or even
Craft.
curious about what goes into making puzzles, because it's not exclusively for people, those of us who make them, right? If
True.
you love puzzles and
Yeah.
you want to get inside the heads of the people who create
which
them,
is
it's
a great way to solve by
compendium.
getting. Well, that is awesome.
That's Puzzle Craft is the book, in case
Puzzle
we didn't
Craft.
say it.
Very fun. So, did you have others, or should we ask you about the origin
We have
story?
more. I mean, at the
Oh,
space
yeah.
where that felt hard, I can go back to easier. I don't know if you played Today's or Yesterday's, but this is a space
I did today's. I don't know if I did yesterday.
I'm not sure. I did one of the other. Oh,
Let
no,
me do
maybe-
something that's more of a straight shot, but we'll see where it goes.
All right.
Okay.
We'll start with the word nurse.
Okay. Shark.
Well, that was funny. That was where I went right away. I was like, that's a kind of shark.
Well, let's see how this matures. The next clue
Yeah.
is sand.
Lemon.
Well, I'm feeling good about sand sharks.
Yeah.
You're looking for lemon to come
Hammerhead.
next? Hammerhead is going to be near the
Hammerhead
bottom.
is in the clue list. Okay.
That's
We
near the
nailed
bottom.
it!
Near the bottom.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
God.
First one.
Right.
Now we have some others in there that you may or may not think of, and what
Tiger.
more might you want to do?
Lone shark could be
Oh,
in
good
there.
one.
That's a creative. That's a path, and we do have that. There's one more on that circuit.
And that's a
that
little
we-
Mike Selinker call out as well, right? Lone Shark
Yes,
Games
his
being-
Lone Shark game
Ah.
spelled differently is his
Yeah.
company, but Lone Shark is like you can tell one's the Lone Shark puzzle because that's a theme to it.
Well,
But no, it's sometimes the way both of you sort of heard nurse and thought shark. Like this is a puzzle, so it's not the first thing I think of when I think of nurse, but it's something else that's in that school. Like it's awesome that you got that.
Yeah.
Really happy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
happy to have you do that.
Now, is
So wait,
card,
what's the other?
yeah,
what's the other
is
word? we
card
didn't,
in there?
Great White was our last
Oh,
one.
Great White.
Yep.
that-
Card shark, but that's not universal. But we've thought of card as well.
Yeah, card.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there's card shark, but I also feel there's card sharp. Like,
That's correct. The original was sharp, and then it became shark, and then it's not common across the globe what's used.
Interesting.
So
All right, that's great. Well, yeah. Well, let's tell. I want to hear the origin story of LinkedIn Games. How did it all come about?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, all right. So it didn't start with the games actually. So, what it started with is this idea of like when you think about like what's the reason LinkedIn exists, what's the mission of the company? It's to connect the world's professionals so that we're more productive, we're more successful. And we started thinking about like how do people connect in real life? Like oftentimes when we think about building new products, new features in the app, we don't think about the app, we don't think about technology. We just think about in a real office, like how do people connect? And what we realized is that one of the most common ways that people connect and come together in work settings is by having fun together, right? It's like little happy hours after work, it's playing ping pong, it's the offsite. Like those are the moments where like bonds are really formed. But somewhat ironically, that wasn't a part of LinkedIn, right? Like one of the core parts of how people come together, it's not a part of a product. It's all about how people in a workplace come together. So then we're thinking about like, what's a way that we can bring that side of work onto LinkedIn in a way that still feels very true to the ethos of what LinkedIn is and the reason that it exists in the world. And that's when we started entering this idea of like this class of games that I like to call like thinking oriented games because it extends beyond logic games and word games, but they are games that are intentionally meant to make you think. They're puzzles, right? And there started to feel like this natural tie between if I could come to LinkedIn and there were puzzles that exercised my mind that made me feel more productive, ready for the workday. And by virtue of doing that, this is the key thing. And by virtue of doing that, I'm now able to connect more with the people in my workplace. Either it could be like ex-colleagues that I haven't seen in years. It could be someone I'm going to have a tough meeting with today. If we can introduce a nice icebreaker that makes it easy to get things going, like that's awesome. So that was the thinking behind it. It wasn't like we love games, but it wasn't like we love games, we should have games on LinkedIn, right? It was, what's the reason this product exists? This product being LinkedIn in the world, it's to connect folks. How do people connect? Oftentimes people connect by having fun. And hey, there is a way to bring that fun aspect onto LinkedIn in a way that's still true to us.
Interesting. And so, do you find people do it together, or do they compare afterwards? What is the social aspect of it?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so people compare a ton. And we actually have multiple leaderboards after you play. So the most popular one that people like to talk about is our connections leaderboard. So anyone you're connected with on LinkedIn who's opted in, you can actually see how you did today versus how they did today. And there's a whole leaderboard where you can see who's moving up and down. In addition to that, we have a lot of little fun quirks that we like to do. So there's an industry leaderboard where you can see how your company is doing versus other companies in the same industry. And we'll actually tell you whether you help move your company up in the leaderboard. I don't think we tell you if you moved your company down, but we tell you if you moved your company up in the leaderboard today. We do it for schools too. For those who are in the US, we have we take all the NCAA conferences, and you can actually see how your school did versus other schools in your conference. So if you went to Ohio State, you can see how Ohio State's doing versus Michigan today. So
Locke, that's my
yeah.
favorite, one of my favorite parts. When that
Yeah.
popped up and I saw Williams College is beating Middlebury today, I'm like,
there you
yes!
go. Are you a Williams?
I'm a
grad?
Williams alum.
Nice. All right.
And
So is my brother, and I would have said like Amherst was in more your list of sort of things to look against.
Well,
but
of course Amherst, but my daughter just got into Middlebury, so I've already
there you go.
started that rivalry
Oh,
as
nice.
a very specific
All right,
focus.
nice.
And what do you
But-
find are the colleges that are the puzzle dominant colleges?
Champions.
We actually did last year. We did a fun thing where it was March Madness, and we actually did a thing where like during March Madness we'd actually see like who's about to play today. And we'd have the schools face off, and even on Tango we would change the icons from suns and moons to the school icons. What I
that's
remember
so
distinctly from that is Vanderbilt always showing up on top. So
Oh.
I guess go Vandy, were they Commodores? I think that's what they are, like Commodores.
I love it.
So Vandy,
And
yeah.
what about, you had mentioned that it's very international. What are the big puzzling countries?
Yeah, so the number one one right now is India. We have a lot of players from India, Germany, UK as well. So all around the world, but India's our largest one at the moment.
And like an important thing, we talked like the game we played with you all was an English language kind of knowledge game. 4 of our 6 games are logic games, but they're the style of the kinds of puzzles I see at the World Puzzle Championship, where no culture, no language, nothing's involved. You understand what you're meant to do, and then you're tasked to do it. So whether it's how you think mathematically, arithmetically, or just like symbolically, like it's logical deduction is where you go through it. And a thing that's really a trait of our games is we try to have Mondays start easy and Sundays end hard. That's not a novel thing. But then we also have things like me giving videos every day. So wherever you are in a learning journey, if you feel you're stuck on a puzzle, you're not going to just sort of be like hinted to an answer. You can be like watching someone talk you through, this is a way you can learn to solve it. And then a week, 2 weeks from now, you've actually picked up a skill. And so in the same way, like in the workplace, it takes a lot more time to like learn a job skill. Some form of like feeling that feedback look of like, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to have fun with it. I'm having fun with it. I'm getting better at it is part of our actual story. And a whole host of people, like one of the games we launched is called Mini Sudoku. It's the Sudoku you know and love, but in 6x6 form and handcrafted, not computer generated. So every grid tells a story. But we have people in their 40s who's like, my sister has played Sudoku through her life. She's always talking about how great she is at. I never could get into it. And now they're getting into a puzzle because it's in a shorter, simpler, but approachable form. Like accessibility is one of the 3 traits we probably rate a new game against. Will this be anyone in the world could play this? Like that's sort of a good starting point for us. Like we could make a Sunday crossword that's super hard, but we don't start there. We start with, can anyone in the world play this game?
So quick plug for Thomas is I don't think there's anywhere else in the world where you can go in, play a daily game, and then see how the puzzle master who made it, who happens to be the world champion in effectively that game, would solve it. So if I was like brand new to Sudoku when we started Mini Sudoku, I made my way up the leaderboard. Quick plug for myself.
Nice.
Not anywhere near, of course I go in and like Thomas is always number 1, but then Thomas is like, well, I didn't, go as fast as I could have today, which is an entirely separate topic. Which I appreciate you
the
making
puzzle. I
Doesn't
solved it
matter.
yesterday too.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky. Like I don't want to be on the leaderboards in that way, but they're like even things we're thinking of are still like, can you tell the story of why this puzzle's interesting, sort of who made it, what makes it different? Get someone to try it, and it may or may not be for them. Like across our games, I don't know that you have to play all of them, but there should be something for anyone to get into. And something if you have like a peer, like I may be better at you today in this game, but I'd love to share my experience of this game with you. And then maybe as a group, you get smarter in being able to solve it other stuff. And so I think we're still learning in all the ways with the games we do, how to really take advantage of what LinkedIn also is, which is a connected platform of kind of people who are trying to solve problems. Like puzzle solving is the easiest form of problem solving I know. And when I think of what I put on my job resume, it's problem solver. Like that I have all the Sudoku stuff in there, like helps me get the interview. But like when you want me to think with someone with different skills, but for us to come to a good solution, it's useful that we have things to talk about, which are just things we don't tend to solve. Most people don't tend to solve Sudoku, but if just talking about it a bit gets them ready for a workplace problem they're trying to solve, I think that's part of our thesis. We don't know if that's like the way everyone's brain gets activated to really achieve more in a day, but if this is your equivalent of morning coffee, I think that's
or
part of why we're trying
chocolate
to
crisps or cocoa
Choco
cereal.
Champs, Choco Champs. I think this is part of what we're trying to do, and why it's really exciting now be at LinkedIn. Like, I've been making puzzles for 20 years, but I think there's a form, the puzzle making I'm doing now and the puzzle editing I'm doing now, to then reach people from around the world. Like, it's letting us try stuff I've never been able to try in my career. And I think to really think about how do we achieve more connection through puzzles. I've always been a storyteller through my puzzles. Like, even the book Puzzle Craft with Mike, every section is us writing about what was our idea, which we wanted to put in puzzle form that maybe you as a solver would solve, but then you'd experience the ideas without us talking to you about them. Like, that connection, like, a puzzle is meant to be a connective thing. And that's why that so many puzzles in newspapers or computer generated Sudoku is like, not going to get any connection there. It follows the same rules. Like, it's mathematically similar to the grids we make. But when I make a grid that solves with this step 5 times in a row, and you run into an unusual stopping point that looks like a fully empty square, like, that's something that you're going to recognize and say, oh, this someone made this. I wish I could like write them a fan letter. And like, I think that's the sort of reward as we grow this community, is to even see how do people take their puzzle interest to a next place. Do we sometimes have like fans submit a few puzzles in a year? Like, I already had like the 2 of your ideas could become future pinpoints, but how do we kind of like grow the space of people who like thinking this? But there's something we do to enable a lot of really awesome stuff. And that's, I think, the thing we're trying to think through is how do we sort of take these games, but do the broader LinkedIn story where this is sort of an early funnel, early entry point sort of piece for why people are thinking differently or connecting differently.
You sort of set up with the origin story that you're starting with what's the ethos of LinkedIn, what's the reason LinkedIn exists, and how do you enhance that? And this becomes a natural piece of that.
And I do love the idea of linking to the puzzler's brain. It's like a connection between the creator of the puzzle and the solver of the puzzle. And one of the, when I did the book and I solved a puzzle that was like 200 years old, that is a wild feeling. It's like across time, you were able to link these two minds. So the linking is
Yeah.
Is the
part.
key.
So where can people find, when they go on LinkedIn.com, what's the best entry point to get into the games?
There's many. So if you're on the app, what you can do is you can type in games always. As soon as you type in games, you'll see the full list of games there. You can always head over to the My Network tab, which is in the app. As soon as you hit My Network, you'll see the list of games that you can play there. And obviously, after you play, you can see how you do versus people in your network. And then on your laptop or desktop, when you go to LinkedIn.com, on the right-hand side, next to LinkedIn News, you'll see the games there. And then same thing, you can always search for it. You'll see them there too.
Fantastic. And do you think most people play it on mobile or on laptop?
Oh, yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah. The vast majority of our players are mobile, and that gets to like what's the mode people are in when people are in when they're playing. A lot of people play in their commute. It's like the thing to do on your way into work, of like, it's a way to multitask, because otherwise you're kind of on the subway, you're on the train, you're walking in, and quick way to jog your brain. So that's when we see our graphs spike too. It's all in the morning when people are commuting into work and they're on their phones.
So
Love it.
interesting. Well, thank you both. That was wonderful. Loved solving with you. And yeah, everyone check out LinkedIn Games. There are some delightful ones. And I'm very excited to watch the videos, Thomas. So
yeah, I can point you to some of my favorites. Like, it was weird. We had a Halloween video where it's like I'm walking through a haunted house while solving a Sudoku, and I'm like jumping up to place it too. And I'm like scared by this number in the corner. It's endearing. It's like more for the 6-year-olds who aren't on the LinkedIn platform. But we're really just trying to tell stories in different ways. And so we had an Addams Family connection that day. And so we were solving a haunted house mini Sudoku. It looked like a house.
Send us the links to that, and we can stick them in the show notes, and
For
people
sure.
can check them out. I appreciate that.
That'd be great. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will be puzzling offline, but we will always be back here for more puzzling puzzles that will puzzle you puzzlingly.